Hello, welcome back to Colours and Flavours Podcast. My name is Oyinkan Dawodu. I'm the host of this amazing show where I share inspiring stories, encouragement, and advice for navigating faith, dating, and marriage as a young woman. This episode is a special one. It's part of the series Young and Married, where I get to speak with 7 young wives who have been married for less than 5 years. We're discussing the early years of marriage and how they navigate certain aspects of their marriage. And today I've got a special guest with me, the one and only Mrs. Moyin Dada. Welcome. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this with me. I can imagine how busy you are. And yes, despite being tired, thank you for making the time for this. I really do appreciate it. So welcome to Colours and Flavours Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. So let's get to meet you. Do you mind introducing yourself and your husband just to give us context for the episode?
Okay, fine, sure. So like you said, my name is Moyin, Mrs. Moyin Dada. That's interesting to call myself. But yeah, I have been married for almost 4 years now, interestingly.
Oh.
So my husband's name is Benjamin. We met, I think we kind of like started talking to each other 2019, got married in 2021. And yeah, we're here building a family, have a little girl now. Hopefully we'll have a little boy sometime in the future. And that's where we close the case till Jesus comes. But yeah, I think that's a summary about me. Minus marriage, I am a software engineer and I'm a working and kind of like a working mom because I do a 9 to 5 and then I do a 5 to 9. After work, I resume work with my baby. Before work, I do some work with my baby. Yeah, so my life is always busy. Typically, when people ask me, let me know when you have some time, I just laugh because I never have some time. But yeah, that's like a summary about my life at the moment.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Moyi. So I know you mentioned that you met your husband in 2019. How did you guys meet?
So we met on Twitter basically.
Okay.
For some background is that like we went to the same high school, so we knew of each other. So it's not like we were meeting strangers off on Twitter. But I think we started talking on Twitter in October 2019. And it turns out that he was going to CCI, which I had started going to in 2020. So we kind of like used to see in church. Yeah, so it was pretty much straightforward. There was some background into like his growing up because, like I said, high school. And now we're in the same church, so we could see each other every other Sunday. But yeah, we started talking 2019 October, started dating February 2020.
Oh, nice. When you were in high school, did you know each other? Like, did you used to talk?
No, but we knew of each other. He was 1 year my senior. And to be honest, then he was like Spirit Coco. Me, I was like...
Really?
So he's one of those people that used to like lead prayers, stay in front, be in front of principal, be in front of the deaconess, all those people. So we used to yab all those people as like they were hustling for prefectship.
Did he end up being a prefect?
Unfortunately, no, everybody was surprised because he had literally been leading prayers since JS1.
Well,
But yeah.
At least he got to be in front of you and you noticed him. So I guess it was easier in 2019.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm sure that he was also surprised they didn't pick him. But like, yeah, prefectship can also be political sometimes. Yeah, so.
Well, good to know. So you've been married for almost 4 years.
Yeah, we got married August 2021. So yeah, it's going to be 4 years next month.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys are semi-seniors.
OGs. Exactly. So I think we don't try.
You have. Well done. So since you've been married, what's one good surprise that you've experienced in marriage that you just like about being married?
Surprise.
Or a good thing about being married?
Okay. A good thing about being married is having your person, basically. Having like some sense of security that there's someone there that is your person. I think that's the simple summary about it. So yeah, even when you go out, you've had a rough day, there is like an assurance that when I come home, I have that one person that's going to have my back that I can run to. Yeah. So I think that's the beautiful thing about marriage.
Okay, I love it, love it. And then on the flip side, was has there been any shocking experience in marriage or shocking responsibility for you in marriage?
I don't know if I would say it's shocking though, but like the responsibility is that you do not know how much work you have to do.
Mm,
Like being a mom, being a wife, it's a lot of work.
yes.
And nothing can prepare you for it. That's just the simple truth. So it's not as if I did not know that like there was going to be work. But
Yeah,
like I said, if you are not in it, you cannot measure how much work you have to do.
exactly.
So no matter how helpful your partner is, especially when you're in this country where there's no help, you cannot afford the help that you typically have gotten in Nigeria. There is a lot of work.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
that's it. Yeah.
Okay. So
Minus
just how
that, nothing.
demanding it's been.
Yes, it's mostly admin work. Admin work is a lot.
Running a
Yeah.
home is not as simple as it looks like when you're on the outside.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not.
Okay. Well, I'm glad at least you do have a husband who is present. At least from
Yeah.
our view, he's involved. So I guess
No,
that helps as well.
it's very, that's what I'm saying. Like, he's very involved
Mm.
and I'm still stressed.
So that's a lot of work to run the home.
Exactly. Exactly. So imagine people that like literally have no one being helpful,
Yeah.
not being involved. It's a lot of work. Yeah. So that's the shock.
All right. All right. So let's go back to before you got married. How did the
Mhm.
marriages you saw growing up impact your view of marriage? So maybe from your parents' marriage or just in the environment, what did that do for you when you thought about marriage?
So I think that like you can argue that I grew up naive, right?
Okay.
And I'll explain. I feel like my parents' marriage was very great. It
Okay.
was I grew up in a household where we're just two kids, two parents, so just four, and we were extremely close knit.
Okay.
Basically, they used to care about our opinion, if I put it that way. That was not typical of African parents, right?
Yeah.
So whatever decisions my parents were making, tell us as though we were friends, that kind of thing. I don't think I ever saw them fight. I'm sure they used to fight. I just did not see.
Yeah.
My daddy used to cook, very hands-on. When my mom was running her, like she had myriad of businesses growing up, but at the point when she was doing um snacks. She used to make snacks and sell.
Yeah.
Sometimes churches will ask for like donut as early as 6 a.m. My dad is up at 3 a.m. helping
Mm.
her mix dough, carry things to the shop. That kind of life. Like I grew up in a household where people used to say my dad had eaten effort. If you know how it is in Yoruba, where once
Yeah.
a man is extremely caring, they say the wife has definitely poisoned him.
Mm.
So that was like the kind of view I had. Very easy growing up life. I think it's until I joined Twitter in 20, maybe I became quite knowledgeable. Maybe when I started reading Twitter in 2017, 2018, that like I started seeing a different aspect like married and I figured out that like not everybody had my background. So to answer your question, I think like my view of marriage was very easygoing. That's the simple. That's the thing. It didn't feel like work. My mom she wasn't stressed.
Wasn't. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
that's
So
the simple
okay.
answer.
So it was a good expectation you came into
Yes, yes, it
getting
was.
married.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
And
was.
was that something that you were looking forward to replicating in your own marriage?
Yeah, definitely. My idea about marriage, like I just said, was if everyone comes in and puts in their work, then
Mm,
things are easy, right?
okay.
So I did not believe in the patriarchy of the country we're from because I didn't really see it play out.
Yeah.
When my mom would travel, my dad would take over cooking for us the kids. When she would want to go for a master, like she did her masters while married, she went on excursions for the masters while married. He basically allowed her fly, and he also put in like his work. He was doing stuff at home, very handy. So how I think about roles in marriages is that everyone should play the part they're stronger at, not the
Okay.
part that you expect them to play. If
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So if you are the better cook, if you did a chef school, you should definitely stand up and cook more because you are better.
Yeah.
Ignore the fact that society expects the wife to do it, right?
Uh-huh.
So I just grew up with that ideology of everyone should put in their best where they're stronger at. And if that happens, then you're gonna have an easy marriage.
Easy.
Easier marriage rather. So that was like the ideology I came into marriage with.
All right, awesome. I like that. I'm glad the view was a good one. So now in your own marriage, right? So you and your
Mhm.
husband both have professional careers. You both earn. So you're a working mom, he's a working dad.
Mhm.
You're both earning money. How do you manage your finances as a couple? Have you guys figured out a system that works for you? Because
Yeah.
you both contribute to the home.
Yeah, yeah. I think we figured that out like even before getting married.
Okay.
So yeah, so I think for me, once again, I was probably naive, but like I used to be of the opinion that like you should know what your husband earns to the T, and he knows what I
Uh-huh.
earn to the T. My idea of money wasn't really. I didn't grow up lacking. Like I mean, of course, my parents were not rich, but like I could eat chicken whenever I wanted.
Exactly.
So money wasn't so I'm not really driven by money, or I'm not really moved by money in that sense. If not because like in Nigeria they'll say don't tell people what you earn, don't say that blah blah. I don't really think you should be so sneaky about money.
Money.
So that's like my idea. So whilst dating, that was like my idea. Ben knew what I earned at each point in time, and
Okay.
I also knew what he earned at each point in time. For him, however, there was that like this was obviously before getting married. There
Okay.
was that his dynamic with money was a little different.
Okay.
In the like he grew up lacking more, so he was more money should be used to fix problems kind of thing, and he
Mm.
had a little ego when he came around with money. So I'll explain that with him, he didn't really like you tracking all his expenses, right?
Okay.
With me, I'm like, you can know what I earn, you can know what I spend. I don't really care. Then we had counseling before. We spoke about these things, and yeah, we kind of figured out the system that worked for us. And the system is every month we have like we have a spreadsheet, but we like update it every month just in case
Okay.
there's like some extra cost or some dropped off costs. For the past 1 year, Sha, that's been consistent
Crazy.
costs. Yeah, but like we have the spreadsheets, then we work with percentage. Percentage works for us because at the time when I started working, Ben had already started working before me. He was earning more.
Okay.
He has mostly always earned more than I have. So it's not
Mm.
fair to say bring half of your salary. So what we do is
No.
we do. It's not fair to say go half on the bills because you earn more and I don't earn as much
Yeah.
as you do. So we do a percentage split of our salary for the house.
Okay.
Once that's out, whatever you want to do with your money is up to you. So we have personal accounts.
Okay.
Each person, like I said, we use a spreadsheet to kind of track the bills. So each person has the bills allocated to them. On each line, you see Moyin, Ben, whoever is paying this
Uh,
pays this. So that's kind of how it works with us. And then, like, obviously, if you want to give out money personally from your purse, you just inform your partner as a friend, right? Not
mm,
really that like anything's going to happen if you give out money. But of course, if it's
okay.
a significant amount of money, like if I was going to be giving someone 5K, I'm going to tell Ben,
Yeah.
even though it is not from his account, it is still our joint family money, if that makes
Okay.
sense. So that's kind of how we operate with our finances right now.
Okay. So there's full openness, you know what you're earning, you know
Yep.
how the money is going out, and if anything significant is happening, even with your personal portion of the money, you
Yeah, we know.
disclose.
Yeah, yeah. You don't need to tell me when you send 20 pounds, but like you need to tell me when you send 5K pounds.
Okay.
Exactly. So that's kind of like the that's kind of what we operate with right now.
Okay. And do you guys do investments together or you've not started that?
So we've not done any major investment. Think
Okay.
about maybe if you were buying a house or whatever. Obviously, we're going to pull our
Yeah.
money together in that instance. So at
Yeah.
the moment, because we're still doing little investments, it's kind of like so. Let's give an instance with stocks, right? If we're
Yeah.
investing in stocks or if we're investing in real estate, we invest in the same thing, but we invest with personal names, right?
Okay. 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 So you
So yeah,
disclose even your investments. You carry each other along.
exactly. So I'm going to be buying this, right? I think you should
Okay.
buy it too. We
Okay.
track it together and all, but like it's still under each person's name. If
Individual
that makes
name.
sense. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I like that. And then by the way, for those who are watching and listening, if you're enjoying this episode, please do well to give it a thumbs up, like the video, and subscribe so that you don't miss any episode. Thank you. All right, so back to you, Moyi. So you are both parents to one beautiful daughter. She's
Mm-hmm.
slightly over a year now. How did you know you were ready to become parents? Because you're both young. Some people
Yeah.
delay for quite some time. So how did you guys know you were ready?
To answer that question, as the woman, I knew that I will never be ready.
Okay.
And I'll explain, like, for me, I think a lot, like I overthink things, right?
Uh,
So if you think about the 9 months is going to cost you to carry that baby, the possibility of your career being halted because you won't always be lucky to work for some part time. Like we are lucky because we can afford care. Not everyone
yeah.
is. Basically, the whole situation, right? I think that like if you're like me and you overthink, you just will not see yourself as being ready anytime because there's no time it's going to be easier.
Yeah.
There's literally no time it's going to be easier. So for us, before marriage, Ben got married early, relatively. He got married at 24 as a
Wow.
guy. So he got married early because he wanted to have kids early, if that makes
Okay.
sense. So before marriage, he had obviously said if we could have a baby in 6 months after marriage. And I'm like, that's not going to be me.
Yeah.
So after like some back and forth, we agreed on a year,
Okay.
so that everyone meets at the middle ground. But like the 1 year in marriage, we moved to the UK. So obviously, wrong
Mm,
timing, wrong timing. So yeah, I think we gave birth 2023. Yeah. So we kind of gave birth like 2 years into marriage. So we kind of yeah, I got pregnant over a year post marriage, which was
okay.
kind of in line with what we had agreed on. And
Okay.
like I said, because I knew I wasn't gonna be ready, like what does ready mean? What does ready mean? Yeah, I wasn't unready, but I wasn't ready either. But I was ready to like raise a child if the child comes, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So in terms of finance, in terms of mentally, in terms of emotionally, I know that I am capable of raising a child. But in
Mm.
terms of the work that is gonna be done, I'm not ready. Like I'm still not ready. So
Until
I
you're
think
in
that's
it,
it.
yeah.
Yeah. Yes. I think that's the simple answer.
Okay, yeah, I totally understand that. So now you're in the reality of raising a child in the UK where there's not so much help. How do you guys manage the demands of parenting, managing a home because it's a lot of work, even while you have your professional careers outside the home? So how do you guys do it?
I don't know if we manage you. I think we take every day as it is.
Okay.
But riding on the answer to the previous question, like I mentioned, I said I think a lot. So for me, I think about if we're gonna have a kid, then we must be intentional with raising the kid. I do not like shabby raising of children. And some things are shabby to me, but like I understand people's situations and whatnot. But yeah, for
Yeah.
me, it was very important that like if we're gonna have a kid, then we're gonna devote the time, the energy, the effort. It's gonna be stressful. So that intentionality kind of helps me now.
Okay.
Like instance, on Sunday last week, we were going to church. I didn't want her to have store-bought snacks, and so I woke up 8, I baked something to take to church. I cooked something to take to church. I take her
Mm,
yogurt because I don't want her taking the crisp in church.
yeah.
And I take her own drink because this one has lesser sugar than what church will have.
Mm,
These are like some of the things that I do that, I mean, it's extra effort, it's more stressful to me,
yeah.
but it's just what I think I should be doing because this child did not ask me to be born, right? So being intentional also means that I kind of plan towards things.
Okay.
Like on the weekends, I try to do our breakfast. I try to do some of the food that she's going to be eating through the week
Okay.
during the weekend. That kind of helps. Like, I think in the past 4 months or 4 weeks, actually, I don't think I've cooked in the evening after work. Like, I've not been cooking during work days. So, yeah, if I know it's going to be a busy week for me, I plan for the week. I try to bulk cook and just make sure that there's food in the fridge so everyone wants. Thankfully, I did not marry a husband that says he wants fresh food.
Fresh food.
And I said I did not marry because I asked him before we got married. If he
Important,
wanted fresh
please.
food, we won't be here. So yeah, everyone wants the food and it's on that front, it's easy. The second thing is that we kind of delegate stuff. It
Okay.
is a huge, it's obviously a huge strain on our finances, but I think it's what we have to do. So we have a nanny that comes in 9 to 5 to look after the child. We are
Okay.
probably going to plan to put her in like a daycare when she's 2.
Mm,
Um, just because once again, these things are very expensive, but the alternative is that we put her in front of a screen to be watching TV 24/7. And I think that's a shabby way to raise a child. Yeah. we let go of holidays and put our finances on our kids, if that makes sense. Yeah, so those are like some of the things that we've done to kind of help us have a career whilst raising a child intentionally. And like the most important thing is that everyone pulls their weight. So
Yeah.
if I have a later meeting, then Ben would try to put his meeting earlier. Just we
Okay.
kind of ask each other for our plans.
Yeah.
Do you have plans for this evening? I want to go to the gym. I want to play ball. So someone has to just help. So yeah, we communicate. We kind of like align our plans together. We spend money and we plan. That's the simple answer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Yeah. Thanks for actually summarizing that. That's great. And you are
Yeah.
making it work one day at a time. Right.
Exactly.
You're making it
Yeah.
work.
There are
And I like
days when
that.
it's not as smooth, but yeah.
You are all alive and well. So
Exactly.
we'll figure it out the next day. That's good.
Yeah.
So in terms of the intimacy you share with your husband,
Mhm.
pre-baby, post-baby, how do you guys protect that intimacy as a couple? Because now you're parents and like you just, mentioned, sometimes your daughter just wants you both and there's just a lot of work. You're even maybe physically tired, you're working. How do you guys still ensure that you remain a couple that is close?
Very good question. I still think that like there's still one room for improvement.
Okay.
Obviously, before baby, it's just two of you. Things are way easier.
Yeah.
With baby, without help, sometimes like you're planning stuff and the baby just comes and she wants the both of you.
Yeah.
But what we do is like once again, I think because both of us are hands on,
Okay.
everyone on that. Like I don't need to tell Ben I cannot come now because Bree is with me because
Mm.
he also sees that Bree is with me.
Yeah.
Or even if it's me that's lying down and breathe with him, I think because both of us are hands on, it kind of makes it easier because instead of having to constantly explain that this is why I'm tired, he also
Yeah.
sees why you're tired. Of course, like this is still important. So what we try to do is since we plan the routine around breeze, sleep and all that, when she sleeps, then we can have our intimacy, like intimate time together. If we want to
Okay.
see a movie together, we see a movie together. Whatever we want to do together, we do together most times when she slept because when she's awake, best believe nothing can be done. And then like we send mails to each other every now and then.
Okay.
We yeah, write to each other, send sweet notes to each other on WhatsApp whenever you don't forget. And I also kind of, as the woman, I try to kind of plan internally because I know that like if I follow my body clock, after I'm done cooking on Saturday, I have absolutely no energy for anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of like just mentally plan in my mind, try to count days. You don't want there to be so much stretch of days where there's been no intimacy. So
Yeah.
I try to keep that in mind. And to be honest, we just take it one day at a time. Wherever we see that, okay, now there's a room for more intimacy, we take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still think that obviously it's still going to struggle, but yeah, just be intentional in your mind to put in as much effort as you can.
Okay. Do you think it's gotten easier as your daughter is getting older?
No, I think it has. I think it
Okay.
has. At least for me, I think it has. I'm more receptive to touches now than I would have been last year. That's for sure.
Okay.
That's for sure. Yeah, I think he has.
That's good. So for you both, right? I know you come to church and you definitely have a life outside work and outside church. But for your marriage, do you have a community that you navigate married life with, or do you just figure things out on your own?
Good question. Community minus church, not really. Obviously, we have friends that are married.
Okay.
And I know that, like, in my mind, I told Ben before that, because we were kind of like one of the first people to get married, like, kind of host our married friends every now and
Yeah.
then. That hasn't actualized yet. But yeah, we have friends that are married. We see them every now and then.
Yeah.
Some of our friends live around, so we see them. Yeah, just talk about issues now and then. We previously, or before baby, we used to watch a lot of our popular content creators. I don't know if you know Ayope. So
Yeah.
Ayo and Ope Davies, we used to
Yeah.
watch their videos. We also like used to like speak to our counselor every now and then before.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the simple answer is minus our friends, nothing like it's not like we have a every month get together. We just have
Okay.
friends and yeah, we just speak to them when we have issues. That's pretty
Okay.
much it.
So you speak to your friends about marriage when you need to, And then
Yeah.
I think you mentioned you have a counselor that you check in with when you need to as well.
We've not checked in a while, but yes, when we need to, we can check in with her.
Okay, so you have somebody. It's not like if
Yeah.
there's an issue, then it's just up
Oh
to
no,
you.
no, definitely not. If there's an issue, we know who to reach out to.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's great. Thank you so much. So, from your view as, a senior wife of 4 years, what would
Yeah.
you like to say to another younger wife out there who is still in her early years and is figuring this journey out?
I mean, I think I would say the first thing is I think it will get better, right?
Okay.
Of course, this is considering that you made the right decision. um, but one important thing that myself and Ben are very open to is like seeking counsel,
Okay.
right? So in the early years we struggled with like stuff, we would reach out to a counselor, like we would reach out to someone that is better, that could help us. So
Okay.
we're very open to, I think he's even more open than I am to share, to just like seeing how things are the way they are. So it's very important to like reach out for help. If you're struggling with sex, reach out to, there are sex counselors, reach out to them.
Yeah.
If you're struggling with finance, there are people that can coach you, reach out to them. If you feel like you are not as close to your pastor, then just seek external help, as long as these people are also like godly.
Yeah.
And sometimes you may not even need, like for finance now, you just need someone to help plan out your finance. The person doesn't have to be a Christian.
Yeah.
But like obviously when it comes to more moral issues, seek for a Christian counselor that is outside of your church if you're not comfortable with speaking with people in your church.
Mm.
But I think the most important thing I'm trying to point out is seek help.
Seek help.
Don't
Yeah.
be shy to reach out to people. These people are third party people. They will not know you after that day. Don't be shy to share your problems, because really you feel like you're the only one going through it when every other person is going through it.
Yeah.
And another thing is to kind of like have friendships. When I was gonna get married, I remember that like I reached out to one older babe on my Twitter that I thought our values aligned.
Okay.
They're calling her Egbon. So I would constantly ask her questions and stuff, because obviously all my friends were not married at the age when
At
I
the
got
time.
married. So if you do have friends that are married, then it's better. Reach out to your
Yeah.
friends, just discuss things. You may not want to go in depth, right? But like discuss things, you find out that it's not just you going through whatever you're going through.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing is that like you should just seek help, speak out, and it does get better. Yeah. Those are like the three things I would say.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think that that's really helpful. So don't isolate yourself and don't try to figure it out on your
Yeah.
own. Many of us are going through something similar, but
Yeah.
the same God that has helped us will help you. There is help. There is help out there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. This was amazing. It was lovely getting to know you better, know how intentional you are, but as a wife and as a mom. And I think I can definitely attest to that. You are
Mm,
intentional. I believe you know what you want and you're putting in the structures for what you want. And thank you for helping me in my mommy journey. It's been lovely reaching out to you as well when I have questions about taking care of a whole child. But you're
yeah.
doing great. You and Ben are doing great. And I'm praying that your marriage will continue to grow stronger. Your love will
Amen.
stand the test of time. And yeah, God will be
Amen.
glorified in your home in Jesus' name.
Amen. Thank you, my pastor,
Amen.
miss.
Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. I'm sure you learned something. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave it in the comment section. I'll be very happy to respond. And I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you. Bye.